Been working all day today, and I thought I'd come out and do this video about shadows. And are you seeing shadows? I might be blending in with my chair today. Are you seeing shadows? And what are shadows? Well, it depends if you're seeing them or not, but shadow forces are they're a real experience that many people have a visceral feeling of. I've had many clients who've come to me who had these experiences, but they don't talk about it. And why don't they talk about it? Because they are scared. And so I want to give some specific information about what these shadow forces do. So let's just say you are somebody who is seeing these shadow forces, but you don't trust yourself, or you don't think you saw what you saw, or you're not sure that you really saw it, so you go into your mind, or you are unclear about what to do about what you saw and or experienced. And that seeing or that experience of that shadow force has caused you to have your nervous system go off, meaning you're now in fight or flight, and your nervous system is scanning in overactivity, which is going to throw off all of your chemicals within your body, and it's going to distort further your perceptions and how you are perceiving and understanding what you are seeing. So I'm going to give you some tips if this is you, but I wanted to kind of go ahead and just say, like, if you're seeing these things, what that is doing is it is causing your nervous system go off to distort your perceptions, and then it's causing you to doubt yourself. And all of those three things are going to erode your inner trust. And when your inner trust is eroded, you become more vulnerable to nefarious energies, which will siphon your life force. So, if you are somebody who is seeing these things, that's what's happening, and it's actually making you more vulnerable to other siphons to come into your field, because it's going to create a resonance. When your nervous system is not managed, it will change how you resonate with your experiences. That means it changes how you create. It changes how you manifest. It changes how you relate to others, because your nervous system is off, because your perceptions are distorted, and because you are lacking that fundamental trust within. It makes you more vulnerable energetically. So, the biggest piece of information I want to give you, so I just talked about 2 points. The third point is that you must not pretend that what you experienced did not happen. Okay? So you must know that when you are seeing these shadow forces, it is a immediate attention to go within your heart and to go into your body. And the first thing you want to do is take control of your nervous system. That means you must be able to turn your fight or flight off. The fight or flight of your nervous system is dictating how your energy is going to be in alignment or misaligned. So when you see these energies, they can be scary, they can be frightening, they can be disorienting, you can play tricks on your minds, because other people in your area may not see these either. And so what you want to do is make sure that you are fully in consent of your nervous system. Your entire energy field needs to be your personal consent. You need to be sovereign and free. But if you are pretending that these things aren't hurting you, you're inaccurate, because they are siphoning your life force without you actually knowing it. And because you know what you saw but are in denial of that energy, you're you have now created an agreement with that energy force, unbeknownst to you, because you're not conscious of what you are doing. So shadow forces exist, and denial does not make them go away. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is turn off fight or flight. Then you want to be fearless. So you want to look and claim your field as sovereign and free, as a pure vessel of source energy, creator energy, God, force, whatever words work for you. All of those are the same things. You can get caught up in language all you want. The word is the word. Meaning, if you are not aware that you are giving consent to these energies, you must know now in this moment that you have to take back all of the agreement that you have gone into by being in denial. So you need to be fearless with these energies, because you're more powerful. But because your nervous system has gone off, because you might have gone to the doctors for anxiety medicine because you didn't know what to do, now you have made yourself more energetically vulnerable. So you have to know that you can turn off your nervous system. You can turn off your fight or flight. A pill will never do that. In fact, when you take medications for anxiety, it's working on your brain waves. It's not actually even touching your nervous system. So what's happening is it's fooling your brain into thinking that the nervous system's turned off, but it's not turned off. The nervous system is still active. It's just you've been fooled by taking this medicine that you feel better, until you don't feel better and you need more medicine. See, it's a trick. It's a loop. So don't get caught in the loop. You just need to learn how to turn off your fight or flight. Once you do that, you're fearless. You see what you see, and then you reclaim your field. And that means your personal field and also the environment in which you work and live. Now, some of you work in some real heavy, dense energies. And that means that people have these shadow forces like connected to them. They're like, it's going to be like this cord is connected to the phone, but this is like kind of how these energies are tapped into people's life force. They just siphon the hell out of you. So that's why you'd be so tired. That's why your sleep will be disrupted. That's why you'll have crazy dreams. I often have had clients that wake up in panics from their dreams. They have night terrors, just completely frightened. That's because their nervous system is not turned off. Once you manage your nervous system, then you can start to reclaim the other parts of your experience. But you've got to claim your energy field. You're more than just this physical body. This physical vessel is your temple, but there's more to your temple. You know, once somebody goes into your personal field and they're up in your face, you know they're in your personal space. That means that you know that there's energy that goes in expansiveness. So you have to understand you have a physical body, a mental body, emotional body, spiritual body. You have light bodies. There's more than just that, but that's just the basics. So when you claim them all as part of source energy, creator energy, you start to take back your power. But you need to take back the agreements, because if you have a shadow force that shows up in your field, that means you are in agreement to it. And you might say, well, I didn't agree to that. And I would say, you know what? It wouldn't show up in your field if there wasn't some type of alignment for it. So somewhere in your alignment, you are in agreement with what you are seeing, because your perception is your reality is of your creation. Okay, so the number one message from this video is to, number one, if you're seeing those shadow forces, you're not alone. Number two, be fearless. You must be fearless. And number three, and the most important, is that you must take back your nervous system. You gotta really learn how to turn off fight or flight. And if you don't know, I teach every client that comes to me how to do that the first session, because it's critical that you own your nervous system, that is a part of your energetic system, that is a part of you, that you must be the full operator. No, nothing else can throw it off. If you get scared, you must know how to turn it off like that. And if you are not attuned to, even when you are go into shock, you must be able to turn off fight or flight so you can assess the situation appropriately. Okay, so I'm going to go into Q&A. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. I'm just going to answer questions and then I will jump off. I'm trying to make these videos a little bit shorter. So I'm so glad that you all are here. I live in the United States. Somebody does not know what I'm talking about. I look very lovely, thank you. Questions. Kiana, I really love to see you. Hello, Pablo. Any questions? I'm not seeing any questions right now. Matt, is that Matt? I gotta put my glasses on for that. Matt is asking, how do you turn off fight or flight? Everybody has a nervous system. Your fight or flight is in a different spot for every person. So everybody is unique. So whatever I say to everybody, it's gonna be something different for every single person. So how do you turn it off? First of all, you have to know where it is. So you got to find your nervous system. And it has a different sensation for everybody, but it often will be a fluttering, high frequency if it's turned on. So it'll be high fluttering is the best way. And I could do it one-on-one like that, but I'm just trying to say in general terms, everybody has a nervous system. It will have a signal because we are always signaling. And the fight or flight, if it's on, the signal will be a high frequency and it will almost be like a flutter within your body. It's going to be in a different place with most people. It's going to be below the rib cage and below the hips or above the hips. So somewhere in the waist region. And it will be a high frequency. Once you find the nervous system, then you need to command it, you need to own it, you need to claim it as your own. And that means that when you are the authority, Matt, what you claim and declare becomes. So when you are, especially in your own physical body, and when you declare that your nervous system turns off, it will turn off. However, Many people have patterns within their nervous system where it goes off and on, off and on, off and on. And that's what anxiety feels like, right? When it goes high and low, off and on, off and on. When you have not trained your nervous system to stay in the off zone, it will often flip back on in a conversation. So I could be like, so I'm just going to give an example. I could be in a conversation with a client and I will feel their nervous system kick on. I will direct them exactly how to turn it off. Now, most people aren't even aware that their nervous system or their fight or flight is on. They are so disconnected from their own bodies that they don't know. So first you need to know your body, become aware of it, which is what I help my clients do. You need to locate where your nervous system is within your body, where you feel it, and then you need to command it off, especially if you're not in a fight. If you're not in a life and death situation, your nervous system should not be in fight or flight. Worry, concern, all those things should not kick on your nervous system. That's not natural. That's unnatural. So you want to get back to the natural state of your nervous system. So you need to learn more about your nervous system. You need to know where it is in your body, and don't go looking up on Google, where is it in my body, because your nervous system is going to signal you uniquely. So trust yourself. You must learn to trust yourself. And Matt, if you're interested, you could just book a session and I will teach you how to do it. But you could do this on your own too. So once you find your nervous system, then you want to turn it off. And you keep your attention on that spot until it turns off. Now, using the conscious breath helps. Breathing through your mouth, in through your mouth and exhaling out through your mouth while you're doing this works best. And the reason why breathing through your mouth and out through your mouth is best in this particular situation, there's many ways to breathe, but for this particular situation, it's about consciously breathing into the nervous system to turn it off. Now you will see it will go off, and then if you're a highly anxious person, it'll flick back on. You just get it back off, do the exact same process until it goes off. And then you will become a master at that. Once you've mastered that, you can go on to do all different kinds of things. But if you don't know how to command your nervous system and learn how to turn that off, you will have a very difficult time trusting yourself, because you can't trust yourself when you're in fear all the time. The fear is a lack of trust. Fear is a total disconnection. So you want to be fearless when you're talking about these shadow forces, because they feed off of your fear. So now you see how it works. Like you attract the force, then they scare you, and then that is what they feed off of. They feed off of your fear. So Matt, I hope that helped you. Let me know, Matt. Let me know what you think. Okay, let me see. Seeing if there's any other questions. Pablo is asking, almost every session you ask for a session and you have not booked, Pablo. Matt. So it's not, no, okay, Matt is asking, this is a really good question, Matt. So it's all mental. No, it's not all mental. And no, you don't fake it till you make it. You're nervous. The fake it till you make it is the mind. And that's called a delusion. You do not want to do that. The fake it till you make it is a complete disconnection from the current experience. So you want to find the nervous system. And if you struggle with finding it, then I would say that you're just not used to sensing your own body, and you need to learn it. It's not at all a mind thing. Your nervous system is 100% part of your physical, higher sensory abilities. But when people are taking anxiety medicines, they are basically scrambling the mind and the brain signals. Let's just say that. They're scrambling brain signals so you cannot access until the frequency goes higher and higher and higher. And then before you know it, your cortisol is up, you're not sleeping, you're more anxious, and then they give you more pills. And that's kind of the cycle that I've seen with my clients. You people are writing some crazy stuff on here. Matt, so I believe breathing exercises are greatly important. I think conscious breathing is invaluable. It's the breath of life. It is life force. So yes, breathing exercises can be very helpful. However, this is not about a breathing exercise. It's just having awareness of your conscious breath. So as you're doing that into that spot, wherever you find it, some people have their nervous system will be up in their chest area. They might feel it up there. Wherever you are feeling it, that frequency is where you want to go. That's the best way to describe it without going into specifics for you, Matt, because we're not on a one-on-one session, and I don't want to impede. I will just say it's not a mental thing. It's a consciousness thing. It's a connection thing. And once you get well versed in connecting with your own body, then it will be very, very easy. It'll be natural for you. I have clients that were highly, highly anxious for years that are, all of them are off their medicines. I don't have any current client that is on any anxiety medicine. That doesn't mean that they don't have worry and concerns. They're working on their mind, which now, once your nervous system is turned off, you can start to work on how you are mentally. But mental changes take time. You know, they didn't start just out of the blue. It's like a whole series and years of conditioning. So conscious breathing helps, yes. That's to answer your question. Do I think it's important? I think it's vital. Do I think enough people are consciously breathing on a regular basis enough? No. They do it when they need to, and that's it. Or when they're concerned or worried. But everybody has, like, sometimes I have clients that don't have any anxiety anymore, and so they don't invest. They'll say, "Oh, I haven't had time to do the breathing." But they're stressed, they're worried, but they're not in anxiety, so they don't give it the same attention. So if you are attracting dark shadow forces, your fears are going to be through the roof. So you'll have to do some fear work. And fear work is not necessarily easy, but it's necessary for your spiritual development and for your evolution as a human. I mean, look at what they're doing in the media. I mean, so much of it is fear mongering. And why? Because these dark forces siphon your energy. And if you're scared, if you're unaware, then you're vulnerable. That's just how it works. I have one video, Matt, on here where I teach a particular kind of breath work that I walk you through it. And I released that video. Think I called it the Breath of Life. And it's just a 10-minute breathing session. And it tells you why I started it, and why I was making the video was because at the beginning of COVID, so many people were highly anxious. And so the conscious breathing, and the one that I teach in this one, the Breath of Life, is specific for high stress situations. Hello, India. Hi, Rosa. Rosa is asking, how do I get rid of anxiety without pills? You must understand your body is a tool of higher consciousness, and it's always going to be talking to you. And to understand that means that when your body is talking to you through, and you're getting anxious and you're feeling anxiety, and you want the anxiety to go away, that's fine. That's your mind. Your mind is telling you, I want this anxiety to go away. But your body is saying, hey, something is going on within me that needs attention. Something needs attention. Why aren't you listening to me? And the signal is going to get higher and higher and higher until you listen. That's how anxiety works. So how do you get rid of it? You get in touch with your body. You learn how to consciously connect with your body. You learn exactly where your nervous system is. I have a No More Anxiety program that works great for people who have anxiety but are not on medication. And it works with people who are on medication. However, when you are on the medication, it changes how your patterns are running. That's the purpose, right? Your brain signals. And so once people get off the medicine, it's easier. But I've had clients who worked with me for 6 months, working with their doctors to get off, and to get off slowly. Clients who go off and just completely went off their medication, that's a bad idea, because you're not understanding the complexity of these powerful drugs, and they are drugs. So it depends if you're on medicine, Rosa. I would work with you individually, but specifically I would say is begin finding your nervous system, like I described for Matt on here. Find your nervous system and turn off your fight or flight. So what you're going to get is greater confidence. See, the anxiety is making you doubt and feel insecure and not trust yourself. And once you learn that you can turn off fight or flight, it's like a switch. Once you turn it off, you can then feel empowered to claim what needs to be done with it for you. And you won't feel anxiety. And if you do feel anxiety, you'll know how to turn off your fight or flight, which then will allow you to calm down and reconnect to your heart, so you can move forward and make decisions that are more aligned with your truth. Because I understand when people are going to their doctors and their doctors prescribing these pills, they just want the anxiety to go away. But what you want to understand is, what is the anxiety about? What is it telling you? What are you experiencing that you haven't allowed yourself the time or been around the correct professionals to help you? It's different. Maybe you have trauma, but the traumas should not be dictating your future. So if you're having anxiety and the anxiety is continuing on, that means that it's owning you, that you are vulnerable, and that you feel vulnerable and you feel out of control. And that's disempowering, and that creates a lack of trust within. I hope that helps you, Rosa. So glad you asked that question because it's so important. What is practical advice for dealing with difficult people? Meaning, how do you keep your cool? Well, there's a lot of different things that you could do, but difficult people are everywhere. And you have to understand that if they are showing up in your experience, that means that there's something there for you to learn. And so I would suggest become a really good observer and go into observer consciousness, like just so you're not judging them as being difficult or rude or unkind, or whatever it is that your mind would say about people, and really become a master observer of other people. That will keep you out of judgment, which is massively beneficial. Because when you can compassionately witness, which is the next level from observer conscious, is to compassionately witness people. That means to have your heart open and witness people as they are. People are traumatized and they don't even know. They're just like walking wounded. So if you understand that people are struggling, you will have more compassion, not pity, compassion. And that changes your experience. And that allows you then to see and witness them from a different level of consciousness. And when you are doing that, the learning will be easier for you. Now, difficult people are out there, but they will be teaching you, one, how to get to this observer consciousness and compassionate witnessing if you're open to it. But also it's going to give you an opportunity to then learn your lessons. So what is your lessons? Like, why would you resonate with these difficult people? What do you need to learn about yourself that these people would continue to show up repeatedly in your experience? So when I do team development, like if we have one difficult employee on a team, and that, let's just say that the boss always says, well, when that person leaves, everything will be fine. No, they just replace it with another difficult person because the pattern is already ingrained. So you must look at what's the pattern of learning that needs to occur with these difficult people. It might be compassion. It might be honesty. It might be that they're narcissistic and you have to deal with some ego things that you have not confronted within yourself that has you judging these people for being difficult. It's very complex, but hopefully that helps you. That was a great question. Just looking at questions. Christ consciousness is definitely real. I agree with you, Isaac. And I think people get turned off by the term Christ because of all the dogma that's been, people have been conditioned with, because they think that Christ is the church, and it's actually a consciousness, which is different than what the church teaches. But I don't want to go into all that. Yeah, Matt, if you have any questions, feel free to comment on that video and I will reply to you. The consciousness breathing, if you have anxiety, that one is a really good one. And even if you do 5 minutes a day, is very helpful. You're welcome, Matt. Thank you so much for being here and asking such a high quality question. Somebody is saying here that Jesus Christ will solve your problems. No, you are a co-creator and you are always responsible for your experience. And I think people that think that something outside of them is going to save them is part of the problem. I think somebody, Isaac, is saying about you don't have to take what the doctors give you. I think using discernment is really important when you're working with all things, all people, all authorities. You want to be in discernment and you want to see what is the best thing for you. But I do understand why people will, when they're been anxious for so long and they feel like they're jumping out of their skin and they cannot sleep, that they would go on medication because they don't know what else to do. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of there's a lot of crap resources out there, and people don't know what to do. Rosa, you are very welcome. I'm so glad that was helpful for you. Okay. I'm just looking for any other questions. You're welcome. Somebody said thanking you for taking time to answer that. Absolutely. Rosa, what about praying to keep the shadow forces away? Oh, Rosa, that is such a great question. So first of all, I want you to notice that you want to keep them away. So that's based out of a fear. So that is an incongruence within yourself that something outside of you is more powerful than you are. And that's inaccurate, that you are more powerful than the shadow forces. So what you want to do is to not panic pray, and you don't want to pray to keep things away, because what you're creating is a resonance. You're already going into agreement with it. So that's not a recommended action. I think if you want to pray, just pray to be in connection, but don't pray for out of fear. I think people that pray out of fear, panic praying, people don't really understand that when they go into panic praying, they're actually perpetuating the agreement of that which they're in fear of. And therefore the fear becomes stronger and more ingrained, and then that pattern is looping. So you pray just to pray, to be in connection. And the stronger your connection is, the less interference you will get. That's not to say that these dark forces aren't going to interfere with your way of being. But the point is that if you're not scared and you've because you know how to control your nervous system and direct it to go on or off, that you can assimilate your environment and say, okay, I'm not in danger. Why is my fight or flight on? Because a lot of people are not in danger and their fight or flight is always on. So I mean, I literally can feel when people's nervous systems are on, especially if they're on medication, because the people who are on medication don't even know what's happening in their body. They're so disconnected. So connect with your body. That would be so helpful. Find that nervous system. Breathe consciously until you turn it off, and just be present. And then now once you find it, you can turn it off. Then when you have turned it off, then you want to connect to your heart. And so you want to create that direct connection from your heart to your nervous system, from your nervous system to your heart. And you want that to strengthen that pattern. So that way it can start to eventually will override the brain signaling that is saying, oh, I know better. I should be in fear. And the mind will play tricks on you. So pray to be in connection. Pray to be congruent. Pray to be in alignment. pray and learn. Learn. You're here on this journey in life to learn. So what is it that you need to learn? Hopefully this is new information to you, and you didn't know that you don't want to focus on what you want to keep away. So the other thing I would say is feed what you want to grow. Rosa is asking, can shadow forces be human beings? This is a complicated question, but there are shadow forces and they are not human, okay? But there are human beings that can invoke these shadow forces. And that's happening on a regular basis, unfortunately. So there's also people that can be portals for these shadow forces, meaning that they are so disconnected from their heart, from their soul, and they become, I talked about this the other day, like a black flower. So, and they will just, derail you, for sure. So this is why you must be in discernment about who you are spending time with and who is in your environment. Like there are some people I have absolutely will not go around them. Other people or yourself. Well, Matt, you're bringing up a good question here, because Matt is saying that so beautifully saying that, Rosa, that these other people that might be portals are also a reflection of something within yourself. So you want to look at what do you need to learn so you're not in alignment with these people anymore. So I was just sharing how I was just sharing how I don't go around certain people that I know are carrying these dark forces. Now, how do I know that? Well, I know how they are thinking. I'm a telepath, and I sense it, and I see it, and I watch, and I observe, and I want nothing to do with that. So I don't go anywhere around them. I don't need to be around them. So you must discern that for yourself. And then you would look at, well, why am I having them in my field? Maybe they're a family member. Well, maybe you need to learn boundaries with family members, right? So why would you go into agreement with these family members? Well, the agreements come into your path from your birth. So if you are birthed into a family where you are having somebody who has these types of dark force energies, then you have a lot of learning to do about owning your own personal sovereignty and creating a new way for yourself. I hope that helps. So essentially, Rosa and Matt, what I will say here is that every experience, every situation is an opportunity for you to learn and grow. Once you get stronger within yourself, you will not be attracted to the same types of people. They won't be attracted to you, and you won't be attracted to them. And you'll be surprised when you notice that we really just don't have anything to talk about. And so, like Pablo is saying all these things here, I just don't have any resonance with the questions that Pablo is asking right now. So I'm not ignoring him. I don't resonate with those questions. So you engage with what you are in agreement with. How do I recover from disassociation? Jay, How do I recover from disassociation? The best advice I could give you is, number one, you must connect with your heart. You must learn to be in connection with your heart totally, fully, and completely. The disassociation is coming from trauma. All traumas can be healed from the heart. Then I would say, Jay, you need to start to look at how you want to move forward and learn from what you've experienced instead of checking out, because disassociation is a way of checking out. You get triggered and you might just kind of go into a daze and you don't even know why you did that. It's about you coming right back into yourself. And as you learn from your experiences, the traumas that may have happened in the past, then you'll come back into it, into yourself. So connect with your heart, and then once you've fully connected with your heart, stay in your heart and try to stay in your heart all day long. And when you disassociate, if you are attuned enough to notice what triggered it, identify the trigger, and then try to figure out where that trigger goes. This is what I do for a living, Jay. So I'm trying to make it, in general, something that you could do on your own, because I do believe that you can heal on your own, especially if you if you're aware. So I hope that helped, Jay. Connect with your heart. Jay, I don't know what you mean by stay in your heart. Well, put your hand on your chest, your left hand on your chest, and just bring your attention, so in your mind, bring all your attention to your heart and notice what you notice. Like, you might notice that you could feel your heartbeat. You might notice the texture of the shirt. You might notice the heat. Notice what you notice about that, and just breathe and just go into your awareness. Like, what am I noticing about my heart? And at first it might be very difficult for you to stay in your heart space. So once you get practice on going into your heart, then you want to see if you want to see how to stay in your heart longer. It's not an intellectual thing, because there's a lot of people that will say, I'm in my heart. I think I'm in my heart. And they're not in their heart. They're in their head. So you really must be connected deeply to your body. Once you're connected deeply to your body, it'll be less likely that you will disassociate as quickly. Does that help you, Jay? So like when I'm doing all of my work and all of my day, for the most part, I'm always heart-centered, meaning I'm always fully connected to my heart. When I go into the grocery store, I'm in my heart. Yes, I might be thinking, but my heart is dictating my decisions, not my head. So I'll think, I might say a prayer for the environment I'm in. I might clear my space. I might do all kinds of things. But when you are in your heart, it'll be a different experience for you. Okay. Somebody says somebody is saying that they have a broken heart. They have a social issue. I would say do not claim and Namish. Am I saying your name right? Nitish. Nitish is having social anxiety or social issue. Connect with your heart, and those ideas that you have will begin to shift. Nitish. And also, I'll say this for everybody who watches this video: do not allow yourself to make any issue that you're having to become part of your identity. It is not who you are. So don't allow that to happen. You can change with one decision. So allow yourself to make those change. Hello, India. Okay. All right. I hope you all have a great day. Pablo's going into doing research, and clearly, Pablo, you need to do some more research, because who you are quoting is inaccurate, and hell is a fictitious made up in your mind. But you clearly are living in a distressed state. So I hope that you find, don't go to religion. It's not about religion. It's about an energy and a consciousness. Study consciousness. That is where you will grow and expand. Christ consciousness is not a religion. The churches are a religion. Consciousness is not restricted to any dogma, okay? I am familiar with Billy. Okay, you all. I don't see any questions. I hope you all have a great day. I am Kiana Sage, and I guide people to peace. I do these videos every day on different topics. So if you want to talk about a particular topic, please leave a comment, and I would love to discuss it and have an exchange. And I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.